Welcome back to the channel. This is the Black Science Society. We are doing a very interesting tournament bracket today to really talk about some of the worst anime worlds that exist and which places we don't want to live in. I'm sure you have seen some clips we did for like a Berserker and Attack on Titan, but we hop back on Fufu to see some of the worst places to be, and we're going to decide which one is the worst of the worst of the worst. With me, of course, is yours truly, and of course, our guy Ty. And this should be good. First thing is, oh, make sure you guys like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Dragon Ball Z or Kabinari of the Iron Fortress, which is the worst person to live in, worst place to live in. And this is based on like a normal person's perspective. Like you're not one of the main characters, you're just a normal person living in this world. What do you think?
Uh, hmm. Probably Nary, but only thing with Dragon Ball is like if you're a normal person, you might get blown up a lot. Now they do wish you back and erase your memories, but sometimes if they're a normal person isn't just an earthly, you could be a normal Namekian, a normal any type of person, you might get slaughtered. Um, you might not come back, but generally you don't know what's going on. So if you do blow up, you don't see it coming. You just don't exist anymore.
Yeah, just like it's just living in a world where at any point you can kind of get nuked, but
Yeah.
you don't know you're gonna get nuked. So you're still
Unless
living. Well,
unless the situation with the Saiyans, that was recorded on live TV. The situation with Cell was recorded. People knew actually, I take that back. Actually, they're all really aware of what's going on.
well,
Demon King
actually,
Piccolo, Demon King Piccolo and OG Dragon Ball, he said, all right, so every month I'm going to destroy a new city. And it was broadcast on television. Actually, these villains are very thorough with making sure the public knows. Now that I think about it.
what's good, Sauce? What's good?
What's going on, bro?
It's good.
What's going
Um,
on?
they did no, they are pretty thorough. That's a good point. At the very least, the one thing I will give you is that they can get wished back to life.
They
That's
can.
that's a pro. And Combinari, once you get bitten, you're cooked. You're toast. Your
But
life is over.
what's really crazy about it is that the original timeline of Dragon Ball, the androids took over and Dragon Ball disappeared. So the original timeline of Dragon Ball 17 to 18 just ran through the world and just terrorized people forever. That was supposed to happen again until Trunks came in.
Yeah,
So
we don't worry about that one. That one is tough. That's a good point. That world, everybody's basically cooked.
and that was the original. That was originally supposed to happen. So originally Dragon Ball was meant to be Attack on Titan, but 10 times worse.
And later on down the line, Zamasu shows up. Just
Yeah, that
makes
timeline
it
is
even worse.
Trunks timeline.
It's
So
terrible. I'm gonna be
yeah, it
honest.
sucks. It sucks.
For now, I'll go Kabinari. Also,
Yeah,
you're
I would
constantly living in fear in Kabinari, like that you're gonna get attacked by one of these zombie things. Like
yeah.
it's a terrible existence. But Dragon Ball Z, especially Trunks's future Trunks's timeline, no, that one's terrible. I'm gonna be honest. Well, we'll go Kabinari. Sauce, just to catch you up, we are deciding the worst worlds to live in anime for this tournament bracket. So basically, which is the worst of the worst? Right now, we got Demon Slayer versus Hunter x Hunter.
Probably Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I would say Demon Slayer too, for sure.
Like
Yeah,
I feel like with Hunter, you gotta go find the danger.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
like
think so too. I mean, unless you
you
were
gotta go take
around
the
the
hidden
ants
ground.
in that one kingdom where they're
Oh,
like,
well,
yeah. But for the most part, yeah. And well, I won't say everybody, but more likely than not, you will have the capacity to become a hunter. In Demon Slayer, most people are pretty much irrelevant. It's like you either know you either can do breathing or you can't do breathing. So yeah, Demon Slayer pretty easily. Promise Never.
Promise Neverland.
Yeah, it's like
Promise Neverland. Promise Neverland.
you just got to find Senku in your GGs. He's about to
Most
make a.
people, most people in Promise Neverland don't make it past 6 years old because if you're stupid, you get shipped off at 6. If you're smart, you get shipped off at 12. So most people aren't like Emma, Ray, and Norman. So most people die at 6. and get eaten.
Exactly. Dr. Stone, I mean, it's just primitive for the most part. And Senku is so smart, he starts creating things pretty quickly. So yeah, Promise Neverland. Pretty easy. Bleach or Darling in the Franxx? I have never peeped Darling.
I saw a little bit of it, and it could be Bleach from the standpoint of like one day you might just be chilling and a hollow might come kill you. Like a hollow, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like hollows are pretty prominent in the world of the living. You know what I'm saying? You just
Yeah, I
chill
agree with that.
and
I
a
agree
hollow
with that.
just might blow your house down. Me, first episode of Bleach.
Yeah, but how much I'm trying to think, how many people realistically that's like an average person who has no like connection to
That's
Soul Society
true.
at all
'Cause
actually get attacked?
it did come there because of their reaction. Okay. Um,
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
the thing for me.
I still think it's enough. I mean, or you might turn into a hollow, like Orihime's brother. When you die, you
And
might
then
come
you
back.
bring in the Soul Society. Living in the Soul Society is like everybody gets attacked. Like hollows appear over there too. If you're like the average person, I just don't know a lot about Darling Franks. Like, what is? I don't know exactly what they have
From
to
what I
deal with.
saw of it, I don't. I'm trying. I don't remember much about it. But what I don't think I was thinking like, nah, I would never want to live here. You know, some series you're like, nah. I don't remember having that feeling. So that's why I say Bleach.
Okay, let's rock with Bleach. Berserk or Jujutsu Kaisen?
Probably Berserk. JJK is like JJK is it's bad, but most stuff happened in Japan, right? Unless we're saying we're putting ourselves in Japan, but Berserk has I feel like I would rather run into a curse than a apostle. Like the average curse. Like for example, that remember that curse that was on that lady's shoulder that Nami killed? It didn't really like now some are deadly, obviously a lot are deadly, but like you might find a curse like that. You're not gonna find an apostle that's gonna just chill. The apostle will rip you apart just because they're just like they're demonic.
I'm with you, but I also remember the moment in JJK in the anime in particular, just before Yuta came back, where the curses started running rampant, and that little girl confronted that one curse that looked like a
True.
scary woman. At that point, I'm like, yo, that sucks. Yuta for sure. Good thing he showed up, but it's well, is it smaller scale? Like Berserk, I'm trying to think.
Also, they have slavery in Berserk, so you might just get caught as a slave too. So
Yeah, they all suck in Berserk. Actually, it's in like also older society. A lot of them
yeah, you
just do
might
terrible stuff.
your how
Nah,
your
yeah,
your,
that's
your
a good
town might
point.
get raided randomly, and you might get taken as a slave.
Yeah,
So
you might face one of those bandits that raise guts. Like, yeah, it's just nah. That's a good point. Berserk is worse. Berserk has to be. Blood Sea or
Blood
My
Sea,
Hero?
it's Blood Sea. Blood Sea is disgusting. It's Blood Sea. Have you seen Blood Sea?
No, but is it the one anime where there's that like these big white monster things that start killing a lot of people? Is it that?
Yes, it is
Okay,
so.
yeah.
It is actually disgusting. That there's like these, like they're like there's some like bunnies, there's some like lions. It is one of the most violent shows I've ever seen. It's actually it made my skin crawl a little bit. I can't rewatch it. So no, yeah, no.
Yeah, I just that scene alone, I'm like, yo, this anime is crazy. Yeah, it would go Blood Sea. This is average people dying too. To be fair to My Hero, like you're more than likely you will encounter a villain. Like villains are like rampant.
Yeah,
And
but the villains, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'd rather run into a villain than those things. Because and also here society is more prominent. So it's like, ooh, Parasite is gross.
Parasite or Heavenly Delusion? Heavenly Delusion or
I never
Parasite?
seen Heavily Delusion, so but Parasite was crazy though. I couldn't imagine being in that world and getting walked up on by somebody who has a parasite. So I'm gonna go with that.
Parasite. That's a
Yeah.
not many people were able to escape the alien situation. Only our protagonist luckily escaped it.
Also, you could be living next to a parasite you never know, and then one day it might just their head might split open and cut you in half.
Yeah. You potentially could meet like a decent one because the purple haired lady, she became more human as a parasite. But heavily delusioned, like the entire world sucks. Like everything sucks. Unless you're living in that little, and I didn't finish it. I don't recommend Heavenly Delusion because it's stupid. I don't like the anime because of what they do with these two characters, which I hate. But well, mostly her. But in the Heavily Delusion world, there's these monsters that show up and kill people pretty frequently. So it's basically an apocalyptic world. So it's not even like a normal society; it's apocalyptic. And the only thing we see of like a structure is like this futuristic bubble where a bunch of like teenagers live there for some type of experiment. So the entire heavily delusional world, more than likely, you're gonna die because these monsters show up. And one of the first instances we see is this woman wants to kill this one monster that took over her son. So just she had a shotgun waiting for it to appear so she can kill it. And she thought that her son was reaching out to her, and then the monster just killed her. So yeah, Heaven Illusion. It's just all monsters. I would say that's worse than Parasite. I feel like
We can go ahead with the illusion.
yeah, I feel like you can live life pretty fine. Just don't look out for the parasites. Some will kill you, but once they started settling in, they didn't go on the killing sprees like that, except him. He was like a murderer. I'll go Heaven. All right, next we got One Piece or Gurren Lagann.
Hmm.
To be honest, they're both not ideal worlds when you really think about it.
I'd probably rather live in One Piece though.
I
Yeah,
agree with I would rather live in One Piece than because they were underground and Gurren for a minute, so I think
yeah,
I would rather live in One Piece.
me too. I feel like you have more opportunity to live your life in One Piece, and Gurren Lagann, you have to live underground, like straight up. You're basically just a mole person, and if you
Yeah,
go above ground, you die.
yeah, I'd rather live in One Piece.
Yeah, so the Gurren Lagann is the worst world. Goblin Slayer or Naruto?
You know what? People might say Goblin Slayer, but like, especially considering the time, it depends what era you're born in Naruto. You could be born in the middle of an insane war like Hashirama and Madara. You could, or Obito, Kakashi and them, or you can be born in Boruto's era. Well, I mean, they got aliens now, I guess, but or that brief period between after Fourth Ninja War and Boruto, like you've been born there. But generally, going out and being in a like, you might down a mission. Uh,
You are out at war in Naruto. More than likely, you're out on a mission doing violence, but you are trained to do it. Goblin Slayer, goblins just show up coming,
that's
just
true.
R
Also,
wording.
I work in the ramen shop anyways, so I'll probably Goblin Slayer's probably worse.
Yeah, Goblin Slayer, like it's just unprovoked, and some people can't even fight these goblins for real, for real. So yeah, Goblin Slayer's worse. Neon Genesis Evangelion or Black Clover. I'm for sure saying Neon.
Neon, for sure.
They just got a bunch of monsters just showing up and just killing people, and just destroying everything. It's just not ideal ever.
Because at least in Black Clover, everybody, well, not everybody, but the majority of people have magic, so you can kind of combat things that way. But yeah, I'm going Neon.
Yeah, Neon's worse. All right, next we got Made in Abyss or Re Zero. I haven't peeped Re Zero, but Made in Abyss, that's terrible. That's a terrible.
I think made the best.
You have you seen how much have you seen Made in Abyss, Ty?
Just a little bit, but for what I said, all this they throw you off with the character designs to make you think it's like, oh, it's chill.
Yeah, it's not. It's not chill whatsoever. Made the Abyss is a terrible place to be in. It's absolutely terrible. I'm gonna say Made in Abyss too. I don't know much about ReZero and what he goes through, but from what I know, it's more like just a fantasy world. He just keeps on reliving his life.
Yeah,
So yeah, Made in Abyss. Like this monster tells you everything you need to know. One Punch Man or Tokyo Ghoul? Now that I think about it, funny enough, One Punch Man, the world in One Punch Man as an average citizen actually sucks. The amount of monsters that it show
Yeah,
up
I
and
thought
kill
there's a lot of
people,
monsters. It's comedy, but like, but at the same time, monsters pop up out of nowhere and destroy the city.
constantly, actually. But then you
Also,
got ghouls.
I've seen a lot of normal humans operate and kind of be chill.
And which one?
Took a Ghoul.
Same. A
Because
lot of the Tokyo Ghoul stuff happens in like the like without the eye of like normal society, like doing in the dark, underground type stuff. They don't try to get humans involved. Obviously, there's organizations that kidnap humans and eat humans, but it's not upfront. One Punch Man, like you live, I would never want to live in any of these cities that these One Punch Man characters live
I
in.
was me personally, I just wouldn't get captured, but that's just me. I just wouldn't get captured. I simply would just avoid them. It's not like a skill issue if you get captured.
Facts. I mean, you people getting seduced and everything, meeting the wrong people, like
Kaneki
you.
with Raise almost got seduced into, you know what I'm saying? Just skill issue.
Kaneki got lucky. He got
He,
straight
he
up
he
lucky.
definitely got lucky. So that's a
Yeah,
skill issue.
yeah, I low key think One Punch Man is the worst world to live in. I'm be
Yeah,
honest.
probably. Attack
Big
on
one. Attack on Titan.
for Fire. Oh yes, over Fire Force. I would much rather live in Fire Force than Attack on Titan. I don't. Now you might combust randomly, sure, but the constant living in fear, like, nah. I feel like my anxiety can handle Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
yeah, because I read Fire Force, so like it's still kind of recent in my memory. But I think I still say Attack on Titan because the fear of everyday living isn't the same. Because you can't combust randomly, but it's not the same as a Titan though. So yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I would be more in fear of like the Attack on Titan situation. I don't think the combusting does happen randomly.
Yeah, but like
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. If I combust, it was just my time. It was just my time. I say, this guy just take me. But I could be chilling. It might happen. But the idea of like, imagine how you'd feel if you look up and you saw that the colossal peeking over the wall and then kick it down, and then you gotta run. You gotta make sure you and your family get to the next gate, and then they close it off. And you can't get through. And Titans, people, you see people dying. Nah, that's insane.
And I feel like you have more confidence in like the fire force fighting these combustible monsters. Like even the Survey Corps be dying a lot to Titans.
They had. I don't. It was a plot point that people didn't have confidence in them. Like when they first came back in episode 1 and they're all defeated, like that is a
Yeah.
plot point that they're not supposed to be hopeful. And that's why Mikasa didn't want Aaron to do it. So they literally, it's narratively consistent that they aren't meant to be doing well at that point. So I'm
No,
okay.
I agree. Yeah, Attack on Titan for sure. Oh, Claymore is Psychopaths.
I might say Claymore.
Yeah, I would say so too.
I
It's
might say
it's kind of
Claymore.
like the Berserk world. It's just a bunch of monsters all over the place, hoping one of these claymores come and save everybody.
I feel like this list is gonna come down to who got the scariest monsters.
Claymore definitely is a contestant for that
Who has the
too.
scariest monsters and the least amount of people in that world combating those monsters? Like who has the weakest like reinforcement, who has the in comparison to the monster they face?
Yeah, Psychopaths is like it's just the type of world they live in. The whole idea of you being a criminal without even doing anything will be tough to live in. But I mean, just don't be one of those guys. Huh? I can't help you, man. Just be emotionless. W. But yeah, Claymore. Death Note or SAO? Has to be SAO.
SAO, yeah.
Yeah.
If, you, if
Nobody
you're
even
not
knows really
if, you,
about.
if you're
Well,
not if you're not a criminal, you're fine.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for the most part, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, SEO for sure. And then the last one of the first round, Seraph of the End versus Chainsaw Man. I've never seen Seraph. Definitely seen Chainsaw.
Seraph is similar to like it's like Attack on Titan, vampires versus humans. Like it's kind of in that realm, but I'm trying to think, is that worse than? Well, I ain't gonna lie, that Gun Devil was crazy. The Gun Devil, like one of the coldest things where you see the Gun Devil first knock out people, and then it said, "Oh yeah, 2.7 seconds, 1 million people killed. 0.9 seconds, 500,000 people killed." The Gun Devil alone makes the Chainsaw Man world terrifying. Like literally, he had like 10 locations in around total 30 seconds, and like 5 to 10 million people were killed. I was like, Jesus Christ! I was like 10 seconds.
Also, what are they called? They're called a holiday. Is it like Halloween or Santa Claus? The the devil that's the really problematic devil just
The dark,
before
yeah, Santa Claus, yeah.
Santa Claus. Her ability crazy. Like yeah. A Chainsaw. I would say Chainsaw Man. It's just the bodies beyond. Also, Denji doesn't care about human lives either. So they don't really have anybody who cares about human lives in the Chainsaw Man universe. So yeah, I would say yeah, it's GG's. All right, let's move on round two. We can kind of. Oh, now it starts getting tough. Neon Genesis or Chainsaw Man?
I haven't seen Neon, but do they got something like the Gun Devil in there? Like as one of the top threats? Do they
Yeah,
have
basically all their monsters are just huge monsters that can do a lot of damage throughout the city. They gotta have these huge mech things to fight them, but a lot of them also just being extra too. They don't do the best job in protecting lives. Um,
are they better than the Devil Hunters? The Devil Hunters kind of they don't.
I would say yes because yeah, they don't suck, but like I feel like in Neon they're more prepared for them than the Devil Hunters are. Because some of them do kind of like they just can't handle it and they just end up dying.
fair.
Like if they're on the job, they just end up dying. So
I also think they do a better job in preparation. Like they got all the city to lock down, go to safety shelters, all that stuff. You encounter a devil, you're basically screwed in Chainsaw Man. I'm gonna be honest. It's like GG's.
Yeah, and most of the people in that field die young. Like they think they said it was rare that if you live like a long time and you be a Devil Hunter, you most likely die early in your career.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chainsaw Man. I think Chainsaw Man's worse. Okay. Bleach or Kabanari?
Common,
I would say Kabanari, yeah.
yeah.
I'd say Kabanari. Made in Abyss or Goblin Slayer?
I'm gonna say Made in Abyss.
The thing is, what I would say is that the only way your life is gonna suck is if you go in the abyss. So you can just not go in the abyss, to be honest. The fact is these two characters chose to go in the abyss for a specific reason. Goblins are, to be fair, maybe goblins are not like a worldwide thing. Maybe you have to be in certain areas to really encounter goblins. So if I'm going by that logic, dealing with the abyss, each like level also has their own set of laws and on how they work. And then you meet different monsters, and you also meet like unhinged characters who also are just like the most evil people. So I'll go Made in Abyss too.
I,
I talked myself into it.
well, we can go Made in Abyss, but I would say about Goblin Slayer though, in the recent season, the goblins started migrating to like bigger cities, so they started to go into bigger cities. So they can get kind of crazy, and the goblins, you know, well, we seen from the first episode what they can do. So, but I think I go with Made in Abyss too.
Okay, fair. Good point. All right, Made in Abyss. Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan? What is the worst world to live in? Constant threat of Titans, constant threat of demons.
Mm. Hmm.
This is gonna come back to Ty's point when he was saying it's gonna come down to who's facing the stronger threat and who's less prepared to face it. Um, I think the people in Attack on Titan, like, can't even think of their name right now, but the soldiers, I feel like they got more of them, but I don't feel like they're on the same level as the top tier of the Demon Slayers. But at the same time, yeah, I think it's Attack on Titan, bro. It has to be, in my opinion.
I think it is too because it's also the issue with Attack on Titan. And again, we're looking at it at hindsight, but like imagine we start in episode one. They have there's such a gap in knowledge of the world that they're actually up against. And it's not just Titan, they're against the entire world. I would imagine the person so like the whole world wants you to be exterminated. And like I could imagine one day I just wake up and I see the Beast Titan talking. Like because there's just so much information they don't know.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, for the most part in Demon Slayer, from what I've seen, pretty much, and similar to Attack on Titan, to be honest. But I was thinking, yeah, if you meet a demon and you're a normal person, GG's, you're dead. Um, Attack on Titan, I mean, if you meet a Titan, you're dead as well. So, and then the trump card of not only the lack of knowledge, but basically the entire world is under threat with the rumbling. Yeah, yeah, Attack on Titan, I agree. All right, next we got Heavenly Delusion or SAO. And the reason why I'm vouching that Heavenly Delusion is still worse is at the very least in SAO. Also, keep in mind, Heavenly Delusion not only is there monsters, but they're scumbag humans too, because they scumbag humans trying to do scumbag things. But in SAO, at the very least, you can get a job, you can pick your career, you can live in the safe zone, and you can level up. Heavenly Delusion, you're pretty much screwed. I'm gonna be honest. So I'll go Heavenly Delusion for this one. What y'all think?
I can go Heavenly Delusion.
Yeah, I can do that
All
too.
right.
I can do that too.
All right. Oh, they put up Berserk against Claymore. This is actually so similar. This is so similar. Um, I feel like
The only thing
Claymore
is,
just has more protection than Berserk. I think that's the difference.
yeah, for sure.
Like they have a whole organization, which even though if you caught up with Claymore, that organization is corrupt, but they at least have an organization. Berserk is just guts, and he can't save everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's Berserk. Yeah. All right. Promise Neverland or Blood Sea? What do you think, Ty? Since you've seen both.
Probably Promise Neverland because, bro, you die at 6, bro. Like what am I supposed to do with that? I think Promise Neverland is arguably the worst on this list, in my opinion, just because like the percentage you have to actually survive is so low. I think it's the lowest.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll believe you. Promise Neverland over Blood Sea, and then Gurren Lagann versus One Punch Man. Hmm. Now they do have to live in a hole underground, but like at least they can like live.
Yeah, I'm about to say probably One Punch Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. One Punch Man. I think it's just worse. All right. Next, final 8: One Punch Man or Kabanari. Okay, this is where I say Kabanari.
Yeah,
Kabanari beats out One Punch Man as the worst world. Then we go Made in Abyss or Chainsaw Man.
probably Chainsaw Man.
I agree, but I never seen Made in Abyss either. So let me know something if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think the added stipulation of like you can choose not to go in the abyss is makes me go Chainsaw Man. And if you do know the rules somewhat, you can survive. Whereas Chainsaw Man, if you're an average human, Like she's an average girl. There's really nothing special about the main character of Made in Abyss. You gotta be like you have to have abilities to survive in this world. So yeah, Chainsaw Man's worse. Heavily Delusion or Attack on Titan. This is where I go AOT.
Yeah.
And then we got Promise Neverland or Berserk.
I'm gonna say Promise Neverland, bro. Like, could y'all imagine what Connie saw as she was being like in episode 1 as she was getting like she saw those demons for the first time as a 6-year-old? Oh my god.
It's fair. But you also live in somewhat paradise before you get fed to the demons. You live a pretty normal, good life until then.
You know the problem is though? The problem is that they become aware. Am I one of the ones that knows? If I'm one of the ones that knows, then I because all of them figure out at some point while they're still
Well,
there, and they figure out before they get off the grace field. They have the
at
plan
that
to get out.
point, then if you are smart enough to figure it out, then at that point, how do you think they'll live once they leave and live out in the wild? How that's gonna work out? It's also
Uh,
still a very tough life to be honest. But is that more tough than living in a berserk world?
I mean, most of the Band of the Hawk, they were pretty chill until Griffith sacrificed them. They were winning a bunch of wars.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
just like normal
normal
human.
normal human. I mean, there are some bad stuff out there for normal humans, but I'm trying to think, is there a place where a normal human can live? Like, for example, Godo, his blacksmith. He's chilling. You know, he just
There's
blacks.
that magical forest before Guts and all of them went over there where all those witches lived. That was
Fantasia. Yeah, Fantasia.
yeah, that was pretty peaceful.
Oh, until the apostles came, but
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I see an argument for the Promised Neverland. Like you're pretty much screwed. Like if you're a normal person, because Emma, Ray, and Norman are exceptional, and everything kind of needed to go their way too for everything to work out.
and they still didn't get everybody off because Phil had to stay back to distract Mama. Like Phil had to stay back,
True.
and they only could bring half of their siblings.
Yeah, if I'm an average person, yeah. If I'm an adult, I'm guaranteeing dying. But if I'm a kid, I might survive. I might survive. Emma won't let me die. I might survive. But okay, okay, I'm with you. I'm seeing because before the eclipse, it was pretty normal. After the eclipse, it really sucks. But you might be able to live somewhere.
We
Be
saw
fine.
apostles before the eclipse, and obviously medieval times. You know, medieval time. I would never want to live medieval times based off everything I've seen of that. Like
For
they
sure.
got, you know, so you might just be living in a village one day, it gets raided, and now the women and children are getting kidnapped. Like it's crazy, right? But and we saw a few apostles, like wilds, like a few of them, but it's because the eclipse was coming that the more apostles were coming out. So that's not like you on an average day you wouldn't probably see those, but it's because they were preparing for the eclipse. And
Yeah. At the end of the day, more than likely, the average person in Promised Neverland, in the bad side of Promised Neverland, obviously not the good side. In the bad side, you're going to be made into fodder
yeah,
and food, more than likely. So yeah, I think Promised. I think you got a good case here. Promised Neverland's worse. Attack on Titan or Chainsaw Man?
probably AOT.
Yeah, I would say AOT. Even though Chainsaw Man World sucks, there are some people that still thinking they're living a normal life. And even the ones that are living in the post part 1 world where they know devils exist, some of them are still living a pretty normal life. They just recognize that these things exist. So yeah, Attack on Titan, yeah. Kabanari, Promise Neverland. I'll go Promise.
Yeah. Now, Promise Neverland versus Tower. I'm trying to think. Now, do I want to live till 6 and then die, or do I want to live in fear and die anyways?
More
Or
people died in Attack on Titan too.
Well, actually, we don't know that because this contract has been in this contract between the humans and the demons were around for a long time.
Oh,
So
I
at
was
least
just
now.
talking about in the story, but that's a good point. Back in
Oh,
history too, that is like a lot happened. But I was just talking about in the world from the series, from what we've
mm.
seen.
There are multiple farms. Also, you could be on a farm that don't got Ray and Emma because there's multiple farms. So what if you're on a farm without Ray, Emma, and Norman? Because the only reason this is the thing, right? The only reason they found out is because he didn't have his baby amnesia. Like, regardless of how smart Emma and Norman were, they would have died as well. Well,
Okay.
not Norman, not Norman. They wanted to test his brain because he was just too smart. Like, we're going to test your brain out, but Emma and Ray most likely would have died if Ray didn't have his brain, if he had the normal baby amnesia. So if you're on another farm, you're not surviving.
And I mean, and even if you do, like some of those ones that ended up in Goldie Pond, even if you're one of those kids, you end up in Goldie Pond. So
But Attack on Titan is like the rumbling is crazy.
yeah, more than likely, even if you don't live on Paradise, you're dying. If you live on even like there's other like countries at war with
Marley.
Marley that have Titans set over to them to kill them. So they're even not technically safe.
Oh.
Hmm. Titans that can come rumbling. More than likely, you're going to be one of the people who die from the rumbling.
Unless you live in Eldia, but if you live in Eldia, that means that you probably got eaten by the first or second Titan attack.
Yeah, we're mostly thinking about the idea of you living in Paradise, to be honest, because we're looking at them living on the forums and living on Paradise. If you're living
Yeah.
on Paradise, you're an Eldian, and the entire world hates you, so you can't go anywhere.
Mm.
You either choose to be on Aaron's side or you have to fight your own friends. Ugh. And oh, that is so tough. Child, and technically, in Attack on Titan, a lot of them are child soldiers too. And a lot of them get killed. The
It
average
might
person get killed, and
it might be Attack on Titan, like barely though.
they were both really tough. Like more than you're pretty much dead either one. More than likely.
Ty, can you answer me this question about Promised Neverland?
Yeah.
Does it get to a point where like they find out like if there are other humans in the outside world, and
Yeah,
if
they
they
figure it out.
okay, they do. Okay,
Yeah,
are
they figure it
they
out.
safe or like, are they constantly on the run?
Oh, if you so like how they did it was humans and demons made a contract that hey, half our population will live in peace, half of them will live in y'all world, in the demon world, but y'all get to eat them. So if you're on the human side, you're chilling. But if you're human on the demon side, even if you're outside the plantations or the farms, I should say, you're getting hunted down. Like so.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah, so if you make it off Gracefield, if you make it off of one of the farms, you're probably gonna if you run into a demon, you're gonna die. So
Um.
That just made it
Also,
fucked
to
up.
be, I guess the reason why I'll go Attack on Titan is because I'm thinking like, okay, what about the end result? Because like Norman, Emma, and Ray did save everybody, whereas like
oh yeah, they still at war.
yeah, and also the Aaron only really saved the people closest to him. Not even if you live in Paradise, there's no guarantee you'll also be saved and survive. Everybody from the farms got saved from Emma's plan. Only the people Aaron really cared about survived for Aaron's plan.
Also, the rest of the world spun the block at the end of the last chapter. They spun a block and bombed Paradise again.
Yeah, so you got like about 30, 40, 50, maybe 50 years of peace, and then it's GG's.
Yes,
Yeah, I think it's Titan.
yeah, your grandkids probably gonna die.
Yeah, Attack on Titan.
All right, man. Attack on Titan is the worst world to live in anime. You know, we just had to figure out, you know, terrible situations to live in and see which one is the worst. Appreciate everybody coming back. We'll try to do more original content. We had Sauce over here for today's video. If you guys don't know, you guys can become a member, join our member Discord channel and in our Discord, and then you guys can potentially hop on for future content. But this was a little quick video. We want to do more original content that's not on the podcast. Appreciate everybody who watched. Y'all have a good one. Take care.